Assalamu alaikum. This is the fourth part of chapter 2 and the last one. It's about circular flow and business cycle. What is the business cycle? Business cycle, it's a diagram to explain to us, to illustrate to us the equality of income and expenditure, okay, or expenditure. It will explain how much the two approaches are equal each other. Equality of income and value of production shows the link between productivity and living standards. Let's just see how it works. This is how it looks like. I can ask you in the exam to draw a circular flow diagram and explain it. And here you go. You have to open your book, page 69, okay? Or 68, I'm sorry. And you're going to see the same diagram, but it's colored here, which is very good because the colors here representing the two approaches. The blue one representing the total income paid, the income approach, and the red one, it is representing the circular flow of expenditure, okay, or expenditure. It is the approach. This approach, the red should be equal the blue. Okay, but what is the red and what is the blue? I'm going to explain first the households, okay, and then we're going to explain the consumptions expenditure and governments and rest of the world. I'm going to explain the main stuff here to understand how it works. What is the households? Households sell and firms many of the services of labor, because I can be a consumer and I can be producing a firm or producing goods and services, okay, as a capital, labor and capital. I could be labor, I could be capital. I could be representing the factor markets, okay. The total, the earning here, it's important representing the income approach, okay. So what we have here, the firms sell and household buy consumer goods and services such as inline skates or consumer goods and services such as inline skates and haircuts and any goods and service, chairs, dresses, whatever. The total payment for these goods and services is consumptions expenditure, okay, shown by the red flow labeled C. So we have first, we have the figure shows the total income, aggregate income received by household, including retained earning as the blue flow labeled Y. All let's just have the pointer here, okay. All the blue ones representing the Y, which representing the income approach, okay. It will represent the income approach, the earning of the income approach, okay. Let's just go to the next one, which is the red ones. The red ones here representing what the expenditures, okay, how do they spend it, okay. The firms sell, so we have here that in the figure the total income, which is aggregate income. This is all aggregate income, okay, the total aggregate income received by households, all of the blue ones, okay, including retained earning as the blue flow labeled, okay. It's the firms produce and go to the factor market, which produce Y it's the GDP, to households to consume. When they consume, this is the expenditures, okay. This is the expenditures, okay? And this is how they spend their money, the spenders, okay? How they spend their money, consumptions for goods and services from the market, okay? But not all of it. Some of them takes the money to invest it in firms. They have extra money, so why not? I'm going to invest a firm to produce goods and services. Others, or the same person, could have some for consumptions, to eat and drink and have their needs and wants. Okay, the other part goes for the government. The government do what? They need spending to produce goods and services, to make infrastructure, to produce public education, many stuff in the country. They have to produce themselves, have to spend some money for this. Others, we are produced many goods and services to exports and imports to the rest of the world. Exports comes and imports, okay? Imports comes to here and exports come to here. Exports and imports. And again, the extra, the spending goes to the firm, okay? So in the figure here, the blue flow, okay, representing Y, shows total income paid by the firms to households, okay? The red flows are the circular flow of expenditure or expenditures or spending, okay, which is the red ones, all right? So household sell, this is household and firms. Household sell and firms buy the services of labor, capital, and land, factors of reductions in the figure. The blue, which is the flow Y, the blue flow, which is Y, shows the total income, as I said before. Firms sell and households buy consumer goods and services in goods market. Consumptions of expenditures is the total payment for consumer goods and services shown by the red flow labeled C. We have C as consumptions, okay? And then firms buy and sell new capital, equipments, and goods for market to put unsold output in inventory. The purchase of new plant, factories, equipments, buildings, any additions, inventories are investment, I, shown in the red flow label, okay? As for the government buy goods and services from the firms. Yes, they need to buy desks, they need to have computers, inks, papers, pens, stuff, all cars, trucks, okay? And their expenditure on goods and services is called government expenditure, okay? Or government expenditures. Government expenditures is shown as a red flow G. We have G now. Understand what G represents for. Rest of the world, firms in United States, for example, sell goods and services to the rest of the world as exports, and buy goods and services from the rest of the world as imports. And the value of exports minus the value of imports called net exports. The red flow, which is X minus M. Now we can have our equation in both approaches, expenditures approach and income approach. We have it the same here. The GDP equals C plus I plus G plus X minus M. And the other approach here, which is income approach, which is Y, representing the GDP by income approach. When you say Y, it is the income approach. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. It should be equal. The red one should be equal the blue one. So we finish with the circular flow. I want you to read it carefully and be able to write a good essay about it. Just make things easier for you if you look at the book. Now we're going to talk about something very important called business cycle. What is the business cycle? You'll find business cycle. I want you to open the book with me at page 71. It will help you a lot, okay? Because lots of explanation in the book. The business cycle is a periodic but irregular up and down movement of total production and other measures of what? Of the economic activity. Okay, it measures the economic activity as a whole, ups and down. It should be irregular. This is okay. This is normal. Okay, it's real GDP fluctuations. The fluctuation means comes up and down. Fluctuations in Arabic تقلبات تطلع وتنزل. Okay. Or it means the business cycle is the natural rise and fall of economic growth that occurs over time. It is natural. Nobody can have it all in one stage. There are 4 stages, okay, 4 important stages and 1 ending point. Let's just have the cycle is a useful tool. It is very useful to analyze the economy in a certain time, okay, and to predict what's going to happen in next year, next term, next 4 months, okay. What is the stages? The stages are each business cycle has 4 phases, okay, 4 phases, 4 stages, 4 phases. The first one here, they are expansions, peak, recession, and trough. Recession means contractions of business. Everything is not doing very well. Let's just gonna talk about each one. Every cycle has 2 main phases, expansion, recession. 2 turning points. We call peak and trough turning points. And could have 1 ending point phase called recovery. Recovery to come from here to there. This is the recovery stage, okay? Recovery ending points. That's what we call it, okay? I want you to study this by heart to be able to talk about it. We're going to, if you open the book, you'll find the diagram here. We have expansion, recession, and expansion again. But during this, we have ups and down, ups and down. The phases here, the main phases here, expansion, recession phases. But the 2 turning points are peak. This is the peak, okay, and this is the boom and peak, okay, and the trough. What is the peak? This is the highest that we can reach in economics. The highest of everything, highest of employment, highest of sales, highest of production, highest amount of outputs. Everything is the peak. In Arabic means az-zurwa, okay? A trough means the lowest in everything, the lowest in production, the lowest in employment, the lowest in GDP actually, the lowest in output. Everything is going down. Okay, so we have here 2 stages and 2 turning points, and we have recovery. This could be a recovery from here to there. Okay, it shows in the next diagram much better. Here we have here expansion, peak, recession, trough, then expansion, peak, recession. This is very natural. They call it Tom and Jerry. We have heard it in one lecture, and I read it in a book. This is like Tom and Jerry. Expansion comes after that, the recession, then the recession goes to expansion, and so on. Okay, but let me explain each one. First, I want you to know that forecasting as in total, it's very difficult for 2 reasons. Different sectors each sector got its own character, Like what? Like if we talk about industry, it got its own problems, own character than agriculture, okay, than education, than healthcare. So it's very difficult to make. They all have different signals. So you cannot have uh, one signal for all of them. Second thing here, this is the first thing. Second thing here, the data that we are using, it is not updated. Usually the data, it's 6 months after the end of the quarter. 6 months after, 6 weeks, I'm sorry, 6 weeks after the end of the quarter. 6 weeks means 1 month and a half, which is not updated. So when you take a quarter year and make analysis, it's not really clear. That's why economist forecasts are much better than other people when they're forecasting a GDP. They use the business cycle, they use this stuff to analyze it very well. Let's just see how do they use the business cycle. Let's just start to talk about each one. Expansions, okay? Expansions here means what? In Arabic, it means رواج اقتصادي. رواج شدة الرواج الاقتصادي. In English, it means everything is doing very well in this period. The real GDP is increasing very high. And what does it mean, the real GDP? It means we are producing very a big amount of goods and services. The goods and services of producing are increasing. It became increasing a lot until we reached the peak here. Okay, the line of cycle that moves above the steady growth line represents the expansion phase of business. In the expansion phase, there is an increase in various economic factors such as production, output, wages, employment, profits, demand, supply, you name it, sales, production, everything is increasing. Wow, it's good. People are making profit, producing more goods and services. People are buying, the consumers are buying goods and everybody's happy. Okay. In addition, the expansion phase here, the prices of factors of productions and output increases. Why? Because the prices is very good. People are buying. Why not making profits? So in this phase, depositors are generally in good financial conditions to repay their debts. Everybody have a loan. He can repay his loan easily. Creditors lend money at high interest rate because they're making profit. They are selling their goods and services. So might as well, why not making a loan, increase our business, increase our investment. This leads to increase in flow of money. The flow of money, it will be a lot in the market then. Okay. In expansion phase, okay, due to the increase in investment, opportunities, idle funds to organization or individuals, utilities for various investment purpose. Of course, everybody has money, so why not invest it in a business? So in this case, the cash inflow and outflow of businesses are equal. Okay, there are inflow and outflow and everybody's happy, and the expansion continues until the economics conditions are favorable. Until what happened? Until the peak. This is the peak. Okay, we reach the peak. Okay, everything is at the most of it. The growth in expansion phase eventually slows down to reach its peak. Okay, this is a peak. You cannot have any more. The phase is known as peak phase. In other words, peak phase refers to phase in which the increase in growth rate of business cycle achieves the maximum limit. This is the maximum that we can reach. That's why it's higher, okay? It's not down, it's higher. It looks thin here because not everybody sustain in the market. Not everybody can stay in the market, but it reaches the highest point, okay? In peak phase, the economic factors such as productions, profit, sales, as we said, the employment, everything are higher, but not increase further. They are higher, but not as much as here. Do you see how much it is? This is big. This is little. Okay, but it is higher. Okay, don't be confused. Many people entering the market, but the prices, the wages, everything is higher, but the number of firms are increasing. Gradually decrease in demand. Okay, then it reaches here. Okay, recession. What's the recession? Because the inputs will be very high and prices, the inputs became high prices, and the final goods and services have higher prices, final prices, and market prices very high, and people have the same salary. The budget cannot afford to buy high prices. In this stage, it will be inflation. The price is very high, and people can't afford to buy everything. So the selling is getting lower and lower, getting lower and lower and lower, and the people don't consume as much as before, don't buy as much as before. So the recession starts here. So we are starting a period in recession. And during this stage in recession, the GDP became very low, decreases. The GDP decreases, its growth rate is negative, became like that. This is negative. Depression, 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 recession, depression, okay, until it reaches the trough. The trough here, it means the lowest than we can get. During the trough phase, the economic activity in a country decline below the normal level. In this phase, the growth rate of an economy becomes negative. In addition, the trough phase, there are rapid decline in national income and expenditures. Okay, to be very, very low. Okay, in this phase, okay, again, it becomes difficult for people to have loans from the banks, debtors to pay their debts. Okay, as a result, the rate of decrease here, and it will decrease. The banks do not prefer to lend money anymore. Okay, and in this stage, a level of economics output be the lowest it could be. The unemployment is very high. People can't afford to have firms, so they lay off some workers, and they don't hire people anymore. Actually, they let them out of work. So the unemployment is getting high. In trough phase here, investors do not invest in stock market. They are afraid to put their market in stock markets. Stock market will be at weak as it could be. Many weak organization leaves the industry. Many can't stay here and leave the industry. At this point, an economy reaches the lowest level and shrinking a lot. It became some recovery to cure. A slow curing of the economy. Economy reached the lowest here and shrinking. The lowest level of is a limit to which an economy shrinks. Once the economy touches the lowest level, it happens to be the end of negativism. Okay, negative. beginning to be positives. Okay, it will be positive, comes up of this to be positive. يبقى from negative side to positive side. Okay, this lead to reveal reversal of process of business cycle. Again, it will be expansion. What happened here? After the trough, the supply became very high and nobody's buying. So the producers start to lower the prices so they can sell the products even with a very low profit or no profit. But they want to sell their products. They can't leave the products the market themselves. So when they lower the price, people start to buy it. They start to buy it. And when they start to buy all the goods and services in the market, then the producers start to produce more. People are buying our products. Let's just produce more. They produce more until and the final goods and services and the flow of money in and out are equal, and then they start to reach the peak again, and so on. This is very nice analyzing for the economic cycle, the business cycle or economic analysis in a country. And this is natural. Nobody can stay in the expansion all of his life, or recession all of his life. They in one of the authors been telling us or giving us a very funny thing. He said expansion and recession and the business cycle, just like Tom and Jerry, they are catching each other, okay, running after each other. This is natural, but it is representing sometimes the depression that they don't go down this far, but it will go a little bit like that, okay, and that's for to recover again, okay. Recovery phase here, bankers start to use the money, the cash they have. They start to declining the lending rate and increasing investment in various sectors and bonds. Adopting a positive approach, other private investors also start to invest their stocks in the market. Everything became good until they reach again the expansion again. Okay, so the producers are always able to earn certain amount of profit, so they're increasing and recovered and start to have the phase of expansion. Business cycle gets completed then. Okay, يبقى هنا it is completed. That's the end of our lecture today. I hope you understood it. I want you to read the book until you reach page 78, and then you'll be able to answer the workbook in page of chapter 2, which is in worksheets in chapter 2. Okay. I want you to start to answer it as an assignment. I'm going to put that over the site e-learning, and I'm going to, usually I give about from 1 week to 10 days to finish it. Okay, the questions here are very interesting to answer. Try to study what I gave you before. There's number 5 here. It's important in the worksheet. Number 4, it's important too. And all of them are important actually, but you have to be able to speak or to explain the business cycle, okay, and to explain the diagram of circular flow, okay. Have to differentiate between them. It's different, okay. In Arabic, what I said in English, احنا اتكلمنا النهاردة على السيركل فلو وعلى البيزنس سايكل، وعرفنا ان السيركل فلو بتعبر عن دايجرام في اللون الأزرق بيعبر عن ال income approach، واللون الأحمر بيعبر عن expenditures approach okay. Expenditure approach, you can say it this way. والاتنين equal each other okay. وأنا شرحتهم بالإنجليش عشان أنت هتكتب بالإنجليش. أنا I don't appreciate إن أنا أشرح لك بالعربي okay. You should be able to understand everything in English to be able to write it in the exam in English okay. What I'm saying now in Arabic, it is the same like what I said in English for to explain more to the other students who are not speaking very well English okay. So اللي بالعربي اللي أنا بقول لكم تحفظوا الدايجرام كويس قوي بتاع السيركل فلو، الدايجرام بتاع البيزنس سايكل، الستيجز تعرفوها وتكتبوا على كل واحد منهم باراجراف تكونوا فاهمين ايه هو، رخصوه من الكتاب او من اللي انا بقوله. وهتجاوبوا الاساينمنت اللي هو على شابتر 2 في الورك شيتس، وفي مسائل نمبر 5 ونمبر 6 مهمين جدا اوكي. نمبر 4 ونمبر 5 مهمين جدا. ام سوري نمبر 4 ونمبر 5. هو 5 هتلاقيها مكررة بس في مسألتين نمبر 4 ونمبر 5 مهمين. وطبعا المفروض انك تكون تعرف تكتب ايه هي البيزنس سايكل، تعرفها تعريفات مهمة قوي في الليفل بتاعك. What I said in Arabic I said in English, but please guys I want you to understand in your level you have to study definitions very well. You have to be able to write definitions for the business cycle, for the 4 stages, the circular flow and everything. Good luck. This is the end of our lecture. Good luck. Be safe. Stay home. Thank you.